Thank you very much for joining me. Just a little bit of information about 2021 and what it holds, what it gives. Okay, there are no things that are right for you there unless you really know what you want. So we have to have you as a kind of like curator of life here and a giver of advice. There are certain perfections that Cancer has to evolve into and out of in order to be able to navigate this life completely during an ox year. So, what I'm seeing for you is that you've got to get pedantic on things, and it's not a problem right now. So, there are sometimes parts of you that are not pristine, but they seem to be. I would suggest getting really, really real and pristine. So, for example, if you're an artist, get real in your style and what you want to perfect or manifest. If you're working as a teacher, get real in your information, your formula, and the system that you work with, everything like that. So, like, there's got to be a certain style of life. There's got to be a certain type of jewel or a gem. You know, there's got to be this incredible crux of people. There's got to be a state of perfection or perfectionism. And I also suggest not to be afraid of that at the moment. So, if you are a little picky, if you are a little pedantic, if you have this giant truth that maybe you might be looking for, or there's a giant truth that you're hiding within all this pedantic behavior and perfectionism, that is absolutely a-okay. I'm just like kind of thinking about you. The most important thing during this time now, as we are heading out of 2020 into 2021, is not to revolve around the wrong people, not to go to the wrong crowds, not to choose the drab things, the boring stuff. The main thing basically is now to become open and out of the closet about how pedantic you are, probably always were. So that's where Cancer comes out of the, of the closet, comes out of the previous state of mind and saying, yes, I do feel very deliberate about certain things. Yes, I have an exact vision of what I want. Actually, yes, I have an exact picture of what I like, or I have an exact sense of power, or exact sense of self, or I've got a specific strength. So that's a very interesting part of you coming out that I believe needs to be real and whole and answered to. So when you see other people do this, it might not look very good on them or on you, so like sometimes seeing a picky person or a person that thinks they know what they want is a little bit fun. It's a bit weird, but I think there is something in there, something in it, and I think there is a mega truth, because out of this, whatever you have come out to be, whoever you have come out as, is going to be a larger picture sown. So don't be afraid of the fact that you might like things a certain way, or you might even judge people or judge yourself. There is nothing there, there is just a little bit of mind. And at the moment, the best way to be close to you, the best way to be your best friend, is just to be friends with that part of you that doesn't really want to speak anything but about this, that doesn't want to like wear anything but this, that doesn't want to see anybody but this person. Anything very significant that you are at the moment explaining to yourself through these ideas or thoughts is exactly right at this point, and it doesn't have to be masked. If you get very, very exact and very robust on certain things, there are usually reasons for that. So don't be afraid of you. Don't be afraid of yourself being exactly who you are, and maybe also who you hope to be, even though other people might be shy about what that might be. So it feels to me that there is like a richness about you, there's a strong feeling about your character, and we all kind of have to comply, and nobody else really wanted you to be anything else. So any harsh personality traits, any emotional evolutionary ideologies, anything like that, in some way are exact, and they just have to be so. So don't bother trying to cover up who you are, or who you aren't yet but are becoming. So in any case, if you have anything about your soul, anything about your spirit or energy or your mind or sense of self that bothers you a bit, try not to be so cruel to yourself. Sometimes cancers can be one thing but also not that thing, also another. So don't be mean. If you have like a certain essence or presence that is coming through and yet you're not proud, please just stay the same, and give yourself all the self-worth and the love in the world to be able to cultivate even more of that which you enjoy. So enjoyment, enjoying of things. after all, you know, when we're old, you know, when we are going up to the next plane, we have got to be simple, you know, and we have got to not be shy to say that we've enjoyed ourselves. And unfortunately, you know, our culture doesn't often permit to just say, hey, yeah, I enjoyed it. Netflix and chill, or, you know, I had multiple partners, or I just had a very, very annoying or like frenzy-full time. It's not too bad. It's not too bad to be that now. And also, like, be that at the beginning as you are starting to go through a certain part of your lifetime, as you're starting to go through a certain patch of life. Just don't be afraid to say, yeah, I've enjoyed it. Like, I've enjoyed it. And here you are now. And the way forward, I believe, is just to understand and admit where you have found joy at the moment. So right before things change, sometimes you have to just be strong enough to admit things. And I'm not telling you that this is what you have to change here and now, but some people maybe should, you know, some people maybe should basically undress yourself, come out of the closet, see where you find enjoyment, where you find joy, where you find curiosity, and start to receive more of that, or start to basically just sit with that feeling of knowing who you are through what you like. And then sometimes things will change and sometimes they won't. The main thing is just basically coming to terms with yourself and your soul. And then at the end of 2020 also, we have to really be strong, and we also have to go. And yes, some people have to change many a thing, many a lives, many a choice. But we have a lot coming in for us and through us if we just let it go and understand, yeah, we enjoy. And there are lots of joys that come from the weirdest things. And each one of those things is a greater whole. So it feels to me that there is like a fractal out of you. You know, there's a fractal, and maybe it's embarrassing or emotional, or maybe it's a little bit dirty or strange or queer or off or awful. But we have to be at peace first, you know, find peace in what we have. So the soul gets more strong and becoming a greater version of itself. So that next self is possible. So by the beginning of March, it's already impossible to look past you. You know, all of this stuff aside, all the stuff that other people are going through, it's impossible to go past you. So you might not be able to go past a feeling, or other people may not be available to you because of a certain tendency. So the way that I'm seeing is it's more about self-sculpting and morphing into a greater version of a psychedelic sense of self. And then by the end of August already, that starts to be in one or the other ways very important. You know, like, so like, for example, if you were going through a very, very strange dream and it made you very erratic and very strange, by the end of March, you know, sometimes there are show and tell signs into who you really always wanted to be, and sometimes it's not the model self that you wanted to be. It's just about coming back and coming close in with that realness that sometimes would generate before the end of March. And here we are. Some of it you cannot stop. It's kind of like it's got wheels, you know, it's already going. So some of these experiences and behaviors and self-interpretations you probably will never fully want to be, but they're becoming. And the thing here is basically to allow that love and that light to shine through and to be happy about that. You know, some of us some people with Cancer energies, we sometimes don't really feel good when we know that we've come to a holy crux or center of who we are, who we needed to be. And then there are all these thoughts, but I'm not that, but this is not who I am. No, this is not how I want my life. Like, allow yourself to be as loved as possible by you, and get rid of any kind of backtalk that you have against yourself. It's like, so, okay, I went out on a limb. Okay, fine. I'm like a bit of a martyr here, or Mother Teresa. Fine. I just love many people. Okay, fine. You know, like I have, lots of fun doing this. So I just like to watch a lot of TV. Okay, like I'm an introspective kind of guy. You know, and that I think begins to become not so bad. And it's more of a coming of age, I believe, for many of you, or coming to terms with just the fact that you are who you are, and that who you are is real. And it also feels like with this type of timeline, with North Node, especially in your 12th house, through most of the year, through the whole year actually. The worth that you are having, the worth that you are having, with your job, the finances, the kids, the money, whatever, is all just to do with that sense of self. Yeah, I'm this. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I made money and then I spent it. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. Or like I had love with 4 people in 1 week or something like that. Like there are certainties. And there are no debilitating factors, as nothing here is truly that interesting or real or relevant or important or anything. It's just more about your own heart and your own story being in a greater state of fulfillment through just you loving whatever choices you make and being in a trustful sense with yourself. So it's like trusting the goodness in you and going through a process that is unbelievable, which is, I think, a miracle state. Like, to me, it feels like a miracle state. Just allowing that inner child to be the inner child, allowing the inner control freak to be that, allowing the glutton, letting the sexual, promiscuous person come out sometimes, letting all that awful truth come out, letting the judgment come through, allowing it to be judgy, allowing it to be a little gypsy, allowing it to be a little sugar-coated, allowing it to be a little sad and a little bit undivine or unprofound, letting it. And then what I'm seeing that could otherwise be awful or very scarce or very skint, I think is going to start to blossom and bloom. It's just more about recognizing that, yeah, I have spent money, or like, yeah, I have made a friend, yes, I have made many friends, or like, yes, I have done that deed. As a lot of us really don't know what is right or wrong anymore, and I think you always kind of did, but the way that you measure space and time and your physical, financial, energetic, emotional selves, spiritual selves, at this point might not be at all what you wanted to see. But here we are looking at ourselves, and one of the greatest times in life is this particular time when you basically get a whole year and a half to do what you are, to do what you are, to be what you are, to do you, to do what you are. Then later on in October, I think, is going to start to be very, very real, to get strong about you and your heart, and to be absolutely okay about all those different people that you were. This is where I'm gluing all those old patterns. Yeah, for example, if you've done drugs, if you have, sold drugs, if you have met a married person, whisked them away, if you've made many business ventures but didn't go anywhere, anything like that, if you cut your hair, if you tattooed your whole body, anything, all of that stuff, like, already now starts to surface. I mean, it's already surfacing here for me. By October's end in 2021, I believe that most of us are going to just have to be like, look, okay, right, I did the thing, okay, right, I've put on like 20 pounds, okay, like I've gained weight, or like I've made a promise that I didn't keep, or like I made way too many promises to myself included, or I've done all these things, and then start to find that energy within it, which eventually turns into a love. And it might be anger, it might be itchiness, it might be worry. So the thing here is not to work with guilt and greed alone. The thing here is not to just ascend on this ladder through ox. Not to just get more and more important to yourself. I think for yourself specifically, it's just more about being free and being more of love and less of speculation and skepticism during these times. And also by October, at least in November, by November's end, you might not really even care for anything that you've done. And this is one of those most liberating times. And I think this is one of the most epic ways to go for Cancer and Virgo as well, if you have Virgo. It's just to understand that there is no judgment. There's no time to judge. There is now no time to speak of like, my mother said this to me, or like, my father used to do this. Like, there are no more worlds that are going to repeat again. And I think this is one of the greatest, most psychologically evolved ways to go for a Cancer person, is to understand that with this North Node in your 12th house, you are working within it, through it, out of it, for it, and giving it a greater space and time through just being your own in the end, and allowing all these problems, all these themes, all these thematics, all these self-negligences, all these hurts and guilts and greeds and closet states, to just be pleased, you know, and eventually try to find yourself in any kind of a mortality search, you know, a mortality that makes you feel good. So for example, okay, fine, I've done this, I don't really have any regret, I'm just laughing, maybe right now I'm lying about it, but it's going to turn into laughter one day. And then the immortality state could be, for example, Sufism. It could be going out dancing once a week. It could be going to a kirtan. It could be making clothes or being just beautiful. And this is why I think some of you guys get very ascended, because through these simple deeds or these simple voices in your mind that just, you know, collaborate with you sometimes so beautifully, you get it all and you get it real. So just a small venture, just a small tiny idea, just a way out, just a relaxing stroll, just way that you plant a rose, just the way that you play guitar, just the way that you smile at someone who never met you before. All of this starts to become who you are. So that ascended state that the ox is looking for might not at all for you be money or fame or, you know, the chance at that lover, or the chance at that, you know, twin flame reunion or anything like that. It could actually truly be within the becoming of who you are. And then from that, all of the other things are very true and possible, you know. Finding money where you didn't think you'd find it, you know, going abroad, you know, looking for love in the wrong places and finding it in the right place, you know. All of that stuff already kind of completes you anyway, but that's not the big essence driver. The essence driver is who you are during this particular year. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All the links are in the caption section below. Enjoy your year. Thank you very much, Cancer. And yes, I hope that it will give you what you need. Bye.